Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brad Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to be talking about quite an appropriate subject actually, given that as I'm currently filming this it is 32 degrees. So today's subject is all gonna be all about water bottles and hydration sacks. I've got obviously in front of me here bog standard 1 litre water bottle. I have got three other hydration sacks that I'm going to be talking about, but we're going to start off with good old bog standard water bottle. In this case, like I say, it's 1 litre. Fixed capacity of 1 litre. Obviously you don't need to fill it up all the way, but as with everything, it's got its advantages and disadvantages. I'll go through those in a minute, but I will also introduce the other three hydration sacks that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So, the first one you've already seen in a previous video, and it's this one. It's Eurohike hydration sack, and it's the one that I put the water filter on. Again, I'll be talking more in depth about the advantages and disadvantages of that one in a few minutes' time. The second hydration sack that I'm going to be talking about is another Eurohike. I'm not sponsored by Eurohike, it just so happens that these are the ones I've got. Different set out for that one. Again, I'll explain the advantages and disadvantages to that one when I come on to it. And then, last but by no means least, got the Osprey Hydraulics hydration sack. Now, like I say, each of these has got an advantage and a disadvantage. Not only sort of universal between all of them, and disadvantages between all of them, but each has got its own individual pros and cons as well. So talking about the pros of, or the universal pros of a hydration sack, the massive universal pro to each of the hydration sacks is once they're in your bag, you can actually drink water whilst you're walking along. You don't actually need to stop to take on water, which is a big advantage, especially in weather conditions like today. The universal disadvantage, and for this I will bring in one of my rucksacks. Universal disadvantage to one of these hydration sacks is once it's in your bag, and on your back, once it's on your back, in your bag and on your back, yes, you can drink from it, you can drink as you're walking along, but you have absolutely no idea how much you've drunk until your water bladder is either out of water or you actually stop to check on it. So universal disadvantage with all three hydration sacks that you've got there. So just going to take that out. So that's the universal pros and cons to each of the hydration sacks. Pro to the standard water bottle, and there is actually a lot of pros to a standard water bottle. The pro to a standard water bottle is that you have to stop to take on water, which means you force yourself to give yourself a break when you're walking or doing any activity, which is a pro in that obviously you're stopping, you're taking a quick break to take on water, gives you a chance to read maps or check out anything else that you need to do. The other pro to a standard metal water bottle is they are more durable than a hydration sack. I mean, this is obviously made out of metal. as you can hear. It's got a couple of scratches. It's a relatively new one for me. It's got a couple of scratches, but it can take a lot more punishment than what the hydration sacks can. It's not to say that the hydration sacks will burst as soon as you look at them, but you do have to be a bit more careful with the hydration sacks over metal water bottles. That's really about it in terms of the pros of a standard water bottle. The cons, on the other hand, ironic as it's going to seem, is you need to stop to actually take a drink of water from a water bottle. Now, I've already mentioned this as a pro. This is also a con as well, in that you will find that once people are into a stride, into a flow, and they want to get somewhere quickly, they kind of don't want to stop. And it'll be the mentality, if I stop, it's going to be hard to get going again. And there is merit in that thought. So people sort of, they don't really want to stop, which is a bit of a shame, really, because that can lead to dehydration. I'm not saying it does, but it can lead to dehydration. So that is a con of the water bottle. It's kind of a little bit ironic in that stopping to take on water is a pro and stopping to take on water is a con. It's funny how sometimes things like that work out, but there you go. Okay, so moving on to each of the hydration sacks. There's not much I can talk about the water bottle. It's a bog standard 1 litre metal water bottle. It's got a carabiner to make it easier to hang off of things. That's really about it. There's obviously different varieties out there on the market from this one. This is a cheap high gear one, right through to the all singing all dancing SIG water bottle that most people have either got or seen. But that's really about it in terms of what I can talk about in terms of the bog standard water bottle. We'll start with one of the Eurohikes. We'll start with one that everybody's seen before, and that is the one with the water filter attached to it. Now, water filter, as you know, was an aftermarket thing that I bought and attached. So we're not going to be talking about that. That's not what this video is about. The one that you can see here, it's 1.5 litre bladder. It's got the removable pipe, which makes it a lot easier for cleaning. When these hydration sacks first came on the market, you couldn't actually do this, and I had one of the first generations of hydration packs, bladder bags, and they were amazing. But the fact that you couldn't remove the pipe meant that the pipe inside soon got mouldy. So it was kind of a little bit of a waste of money for that, in that sense. No matter what you did, you could not clean the pipe out. So the next generation tended to have removable pipes, and all of these, if they've not got removable pipes, they're actually easy to clean. This one has got a removable pipe. It's a 1 litre bag, a 1.5 litre bag. It's got a large opening at the top, so it makes it easy to fill up. It is fairly easy to clean after you've used. It's not the easiest though. The easiest one will be the next one that I talk about. To clean these out, you really need to make sure that there is a gap, or that the air can flow all the way through. So you actually have to prop these open to make sure that air flows through. Like I say, the pipe itself I've cut in half to fit the water filter, but the pipes are removable, makes it a lot easier to clean, a lot easier to dry out. It's also got a tap. The pipe itself has got a tap at the bite end, so that you don't lose any water. You don't lose any water when you're not drinking it, which was again a it was a problem with the early hydration sacks, in that water could drip out and you'd actually lose a lot of water. So second, third, fourth generation hydration sacks, they've all got some form of tap to prevent that from happening. That's the Eurohike, hydration sack. One of the budget hydration sacks that you can find, but it's a good one to start out with. So, moving on to the next one, which is this one. Again, another Eurohike one. Even though this one looks smaller, it is actually 2 litres. It's a 2 litre hydration sack, this one. Again, it's got a removable pipe. This one's a slightly more expensive version, so this one, rather than having a screw thread, and to be honest, I actually prefer the screw thread. It makes it a little bit more watertight. This one's got a push button removable pipe. So again, pipe comes off, makes it easy to clean. While I've got the pipe in my hand, I might as well talk about it. Like I say, easy, quick removable, quick release. Personally, I don't like that. I prefer the screw thread, but it's each to their own. This one's got a nice big cover over the bite valve so it doesn't get dirty, and it's also a pull valve like you find on most sports bottles. So you push it in to stop the water flowing, pull it out to get the water flowing, and then the normal bite valve. That's all it really is about the pipe. Like I say, nice and easy to clean out. That is just water stained, so I'm not particularly worried about that. If there was mould in there, I'd use some Milton to clean it out. I'll talk about cleaning out water bottle hydration sacks a little bit later in the video. Moving on to the sack itself, like I say, it looks smaller than the previous one, but it is actually bigger. It's a 2 litre water bottle. This one has a little bit of a complex opening, so you have to take that off, unfold, and then open out to fill up the water bottle, to fill up the hydration sack, sorry. I actually prefer this design. The reason being is when you come to need to air it out to stop it moulding, going mouldy or anything like that, you can actually, rather than having to use a real specific tool to stop it from going mouldy, you can actually use something like a stick. Open it out like so. Prop it open like that. Nice big airflow, and it will dry out fairly quickly. So that's why I actually prefer that design of opening at the top. Apart from that, like I say, I personally prefer this one over the other ones. The Osprey hydraulic, which I will talk about in a minute, it is a branded one. It's tougher, it's bigger, but you will see that in terms of usability, it's not as good as the Eurohike ones, which is ironic considering Eurohike is actually a budget brand, so an own brand. So put that all back together and move on to the Osprey hydraulics. Most expensive one of the ones that of the hydration sacks that I'm going to talk about today, not necessarily the best in my opinion. It's a 3 litre bladder, so it's a lot bigger than any of the others, than the other two that I've talked about. It's even bigger than obviously the standard water bottle. The hydration pack itself, it's got that opening there, nice and big to get the tap inside and fill it up, but what I have found is as soon as you do that, water starts leaking out the top. Again, that's just a personal thing. The other pro, I do like the handle, which makes it a lot easier to grab, makes it a lot sturdier. It's not easy to clean out though, because it's got a rigid back. There's only so far you can open it out to get airflow through, which is a problem, in that it's obviously air that keeps the water bottle from going mouldy. The pipe itself, although supposed to be removable, I wouldn't want to remove it. It's not quick release. The other end of the pipe, what I do like is the fact that everything is contained in that. All you have to do is twist the pipe like that. It stops water flowing. It's got a standard pipe valve. What I don't like about it is that is a little magnet. It's designed to come off, attach to your rucksack, so that you've got somewhere for the pipe to attach to on your rucksack. Great idea in theory. However, how quickly do you think that will get lost? And I have lost one. So, yeah. In terms of construction, fantastic. In terms of usability, I personally don't rate it that highly. That is just my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to take the hydraulics away, and I'm going to come back to the Eurobike one. Now then, I can already hear some people saying, well, if I take just one of those and I run out of water, I'm screwed. Kind of yes, kind of no, because obviously you can still take another one, but you can also do, and this is the way I get around this this particular problem, is I will take one of those and I will take a standard water bottle. Yes, it's an extra 3 litres, or it's 3 litres of water. Yes, that makes it 3 kilos on my back, but I've got the advantages of both the hydration sack and the water bottle. That way, if I run out of water in the hydration sack, I've still got my water bottle. I've still got a litre of water to go, before I'm completely out of water. 3 litres is usually enough. Daylight today, maybe not, but 3 litres is usually enough. It's not dead weight. Some people will say, well, 3 litres is dead weight if you're not going to use it. Not dead weight, because you can use all the water even if you're not using it during the day, because you can use it when you get to your campsite. That's, like I say, that's basically one way around it. That's the way I get around the problem of potentially running out of water in a hydration sack. Obviously, you can take another hydration sack on top of the one that you're going to use as an emergency. That's entirely up to you, but that's the system I tend to use. In terms of cleaning out the water bottle, as I've already mentioned, or the hydration sack, not the water bottle. The water bottle's easy enough, because all you have to do is that and let it air out, and that's it. That's all you have to do. In terms of emptying out or cleaning out the hydration sack, if it gets mouldy, which it shouldn't do, provided you go through all the care steps of making sure that there's good airflow around the hydration sack, the pipe is completely empty, which is why the pipe's now removable, then you shouldn't get mould in them. If you get mould in it, honestly, the best thing to do is throw it away. Throw your hydration sack away. If you haven't got the money to do that, or if you want to keep hold of the hydration sack for whatever reason, there is a product on the market called Milton. I've used it a couple of times, not for this, but for something else. Follow the instructions on Milton, leave it for a few hours, generally dries out the water bottles. Or dries out the water bottles, cleans the mould, kills the mould within the water bottles itself. So that's care and attention on the water bottles. So that's really about it for the video today. Yeah, so everything that I've said, talking about water bottles, hydration sacks, things like that. I hope you found it useful, and I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.